Donnie B, GotDaBeats.
Good afternoon and happy Sunday, everybody. It's Donnie B got the beats. You know what time it is. We live on the beat. As always, I gotta give you the top flight talent, and you know what time it is also as well. Time for that glorious intro. So set the Wayback Machine, Sherman, for a couple of years ago. Just uncharacteristic by the time. I met a young lady back in DC in the DMV through Will Rap for Food, and always struck by her poise and how she carried herself, and she had a ton of talent, and just somebody that I was like, more people need to believe in her brand. Like, she's dope, like, seriously. And so fast forward a couple years later, I get a phone call. She's out in LA, and then she's performing at a venue, and I come out to show support, and she kills. She tears the roof off the sucker, as they said back in the day. And so then fast forward a little bit further, she had a music video that she wanted me to film for her. Filmed it. Was awesome music video. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And lo and behold, fast forward a little bit further, I get another phone call that says, "Hey, I have my daughter, and she is doing her thing, and this is her project, and we'd like for you to work with us to try to help get her kicked off." And I jumped at the opportunity. And like I said, that's just always off of being humble, off of the strength of the bond, the relationship I got with her mom, and then I heard her song, and I heard her voice, and it was just like chip off the old block. What they say, the apple don't fall to the rock. You know what I mean? And then then so came out and helped work on the project, and you'll see it later on in this interview. And it was an amazing time. Got to meet her dad as well. Dad is a sharp guy. Somebody I'd hang out with, like, just on a Tuesday. You know what I mean? So she comes from great stock. She comes from a great area. Everybody that watches the beat, I call it the DMV Wakanda. And that's so we gotta take care of our people. But nonetheless, like I said, glorious intro aside, I want to introduce everybody to Singer Songwriter Ashiya.
Hello, thank you for having me on the show. I'm so excited.
Hey, no worries, man. You did that. I already got people in the chat room. Alan Joseph said, "Yeah, little sis." Yeah, man. So how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Honestly, I woke up this morning and I was so excited. I'm ready. I'm so ready.
It's funny. That's the first impression I had of you. You was ready. You know what I mean? And it's awesome. So it's
as
like
good as possible.
Yeah, you embrace all of the just the energy, man, and I love that about you. You know what I mean? Yeah. As Fishbond says, a superstar. For sure. So where are you now? You in LA or you in the DMV? I gotta ask you.
Still in LA. I'm going back and forth, but I'm still in LA. I'm going back over the summer. Thank God. I'm so excited. But okay. I'll be going back home, and I have to bring like all my things, all this luggage, because I'm going to college. So it's gonna be different.
Okay. Sure. First year?
Yeah, my first year. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, I remember them days. That was a long time ago. Long time ago. But I'm so proud of you, man. The moves that you're making, you get accepted to college. You really, doing your thing. You spread your wings, and I'm loving it. So pleasure to be a part of that, man. Let's get to this, man, because we're gonna talk about the D and all of that stuff. But let's start with you. Who is Ashiya? Talk to the world. Let the world know about who you are.
Well, as you know, I am a singer and a songwriter, but I also just love to write stories, and I feel like I really incorporate that in my music with the whole storytelling because that is songwriting in general. You're telling a story, and I've always had that in my life since I was little because I've always been surrounded by writers and musicians. So I feel like that is like my whole makeup as an artist, really.
Okay, okay. What was that like? Growing up with all of the singers and songwriters and artists and stuff like that. Like, can you just quantify it, put it into words?
I mean, as like a little girl, my mom was in a go-go band. So I'm always like going to shows with her. And I remember one time she asked me to like sing on stage. And I'm like little, so small, so tiny. And I'm going on the stage and I'm scared, like I'm terrified. But I just sing because she's there and it's fun. And I've always had that and known that. And it's just been something that has kept me going. And once I was on the stage, I was like having fun. And I feel like that's something that really, really prompted me to be an artist.
Understood. Understood. I know this is not a typical question, but I wanted to sidebar this question really quick for you, especially like I said, since you're just taking hitting your stride, taking off. How important is go-go music in the overall scheme of things, considering that you're now an accomplished recording artist, you have work now. Uh, what is go-go like to you? Like what is the art like to you?
Oh my gosh. Go-go music has literally been in my blood since I was younger. And I don't know, I feel like when it first started off, it was like a family. Like everyone knew everyone in the area. You knew different types of go-go bands, and there was always the shows, and you would come in and people was beating their feet and dancing. And it was just like so livid and like hype, and everything was just always going. And it's just like the veins of the DMV, and I feel like that's how it is for me too, because without that, I really wouldn't have that intro to being an artist, because it was like always live shows. I'm always at live shows. I'm always talking to different people, seeing different people, like having fun and singing these songs and dancing. And it's always been that core for me. So I feel like without that, I really wouldn't have that core.
Okay. Okay. Well said. I was on a circuit too, so I understand everything about that. But I just wanted to ask that question because outside of DMV, it's kind of like the best kept secret. Like most people don't even understand how relevant it is or how influential go-go music is overall. But again, it's good to hear a young aspiring artist talk about it in the same right. Growing up in the DMV though, what was it like for you growing up?
Oh my gosh. Growing up in the DMV, really, it was the best thing for me because I had family everywhere. I had family in Maryland, family in DC, some family in Virginia, but I mean, it was that culture, that culture that you wouldn't find in LA or anywhere else, that you would only find in the DMV. And I just remember like going to cookouts and going over like my cousins' houses. And it was always like they would come and drive all the way from Virginia to where I live. And it was like, can we spend the night? Can we spend the night over each other's house? I was like, okay, fine. But it was just like, that's family. My family is back there for sure.
Indeed. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's ask you this question. So you already kind of talked on it. Is there any singular point that got you started in the music business? I mean, obviously, like you said, you grew up around it, and your parents were, associated with it in some shape, form, or fashion. But was there a singular moment that kind of catapulted you into the music industry?
I feel like there was this time when my mom was in the band, and then she left the band, and she was like, writing her own things on her own. And I remember she wrote this one song and she asked me to sing it, I think at an event. And when I sang it, I had always been so shy and scared to sing live for anyone. And you know how like uncles and aunties like, can you sing for me? And I'd be like, ah. you know, but in that moment, it was something that I had to do. And when I first went up, I was like completely like nervous and scared. But it was like, even though I was scared, I kept going and I did it anyway. And usually, like, if I'm terrified of doing something, I'm not going to do it. But when it came to singing, it's like, even though I'm scared and even though I'm nervous, or no matter what anyone else says, really, I'm still going to do it. And I knew, like, right then and there that that's something that I would want to
do. Good question. I mean, good answer. Sorry. But let's fast forward now. Now that you're right here in LA, can you talk about what it was like for you to transition? Because we know it's very difficult. Not a lot of people can just up and move. You know what I mean? Let alone up and move and spread their wings, so to speak. You know what I mean? What is that like for you?
I mean, in the beginning, it was very hard for me because I was leaving like family and close friends who are also like family to me. And it was just me and my mom at first. And we were like living in a motel for a good 2 months. And I had to go to school. And so she was trying to find a place, and I'm going to school, making sure my grades are good. I'm trying to make sure that everything's okay. And it was like, this is where the whole DMV, my family, my blood comes in, because every day they're checking up on me. They're making sure I'm okay. They're asking me like, how is it out here? And it like kept me going, really, because it's like, okay, I can do this. This is okay. This is fine. And I remember there was like pause in like my writing and my singing, because I was just so focused on like that whole switch, because it was a big switch. It's a different environment for me, especially because I'm used to like being back home and having, that energy that's always there versus the LA energy. And it's a totally different situation and a totally different environment for me that I had to really adapt to and get used to and become more open to.
Right. Right. It's interesting that you say that too, because I kind of liken that to a lot of people too. You know, I obviously have acquired a lot of friends out here in LA, and a lot of them, they think that I be kind of bashing the LA area, because I'm like, well, back home, a lot of do it wouldn't fly. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And, but I think the thing that people don't understand is a whole different ecosystem over there. Like people way of life and just overall is just different. You know what I mean? And I don't, I think if I were to underestimate it or understate it, I would say that it's kind of like a dog eat dog kind of situation. Do you agree with that over there?
I do. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of teaches you how to grow up real quick.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So then you get out here to LA, where it's just kind of like, wide open. I think that's the best way to do it. And then it's just like, okay, you know what I mean?
You have so much more room. It's like, oh, all right. And there's more opportunities as well, too, for sure.
Exactly. But I mean, one thing I can say, and I definitely don't want to, hold your ear to the stove with it, is that I wouldn't be here in LA if I didn't enjoy it. I do enjoy my time here in LA. It's a great place to be, seriously. So next question, and this is the good part. Current projects. What are you currently working on?
I'm actually working on a new album. So I've got a couple songs already that are finished and just need to be recorded. But other than that, that's it. This album, though, has been really tough for me, just because it's so many. And they come and they flow in. But then it's like, okay, how is this going to be production-wise? Right. And it's been a little rocky, but it's going well. It's flowing. And I'm excited for people to hear it.
Okay. Well, how many songs should people expect for your project?
I think they should be expecting about 12. That's the max. I'm trying to push it, but that'll be the amount, hopefully.
Okay. Good. It's good to hear. So we actually, the part of the moral of the story is that for the world to get to know who you are, but also to share with the world your single, and for the weekend.
Yes.
So let's talk about it. Well, what was the weekend like? Like, how did that come about? And I was
in my math class, and I believe this was sophomore year, which is so funny. And I was, still getting used to LA, but it was also like I had adjusted a little bit. And I was in class and I was just like, oh my God, I don't want to be in math class. And it was Monday of all days. And I was just like, oh my God, I want to go home. I want this to be the weekend. And I just started like writing. And I don't know how it just happened. I was just writing and I kept writing. And then I finished it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is really good. And I never like intended to do anything with it originally. I was just like, oh, it's a little something. And then I went home and I told my mom about it. And she was like, oh, you should keep going with this. This is really good. Because I always run into her. I'm like, how does this sound to you? Like, read this and tell me what you think. And after that, I was like, okay, I'm going to work on it. And I'm going to continue with it. I'm going to put it out. So I started editing it and writing a little bit of like altercations to it. And I was like, yeah, I'm about to get this done.
Okay. So now the we'll just play it. And then we'll talk about the production side of it and whatever you care to share about that. Right. So again, this was definitely a pleasure to work on with you, and I'm excited to hear whatever. Make sure that everybody who's tuning in and paying attention and watching, make sure that you got share your feedback, about it, and support the sister here because it's dope. Okay, but here we go with the weekend. Check this out.
But that don't seem be happening. Wonder what's the delay. I woke up expecting the sun in my face. Instead I was drowning in clouds and rain. What a day. The chores they catching up to me and always overflow. The kids they run around and they don't stop, they just go. It's to the point where I can't even take it no more. I wonder what would happen if I just let go. Cause I don't wanna just waste away, complaining all day. Need to just put a smile on my face. Faded, completely lost from the weekdays. Wishing I could just go. excited. The weekend's coming, I'm delighted. The sky's getting brighter, and I'm too excited. The weekend's coming, I'm delighted. Oh, I'm delighted. Oh, I'm delighted. The weekend's coming, I'm delighted.
That part. That's all I had to say. Really, really good job. You did a really good job with that song. I can't tell you how many times I've ran up and down 4 or 5 listening to the song.
Oh my gosh, thank you for that. I mean, it was really bomb working with you. You did that, because that whole day, that was a day full of work, but you did very good. I'm so glad I worked with you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. No problem. Shout out on the iPhone, by the way. So make sure we get the Apple dollars.
Yeah.
You know? But no, definitely it was a pleasure. Now let's talk about the production side of it as far as for you. Then that this was your first music video, right?
Yes, it was.
So, describe what that was like. That being on this side of it now. Growing up watching a ton of music videos and always being like, oh, I wish that was me. And now you actually have one of McKay. Talk about that.
I mean, watching videos from like celebrities and even my mom when she was doing music videos, it was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And then when I started like working on what I wanted to be in the video, I was like, oh my gosh, what do I want to be in the video? Because I had to figure out what I wanted to do for the story, what I wanted to be seen visually, and how I wanted everything to work out. And that was so hard because I had seen it this way, but then I was like, okay, this has to make sense and follow the storyline. So I would write something down, I would jot something down and have it on my slides. And I was like, that makes no sense. And I have to do it all over again. But once that happened and I was able to like show you what I was envisioning, and you were like, oh yeah, I can see that. I got it. And I was like, okay, great. Because I know so many other people like, that makes no sense. But when I showed it to you, we're like, okay, this is good. We can do it this place right here, and these scenes and this lighting. And actually doing it was just so surreal because it was like seeing all of that come to life. And it was just amazing because it's like, oh my gosh, I'm really doing this. I was so happy. And seeing everyone there who supported me was just a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I'd like to shout out the cast because there was a lot of people in the background that they showed up. And I've done a lot of music videos, and your people showed up. You know what I'm saying?
Even family, like my godmother, my dad, my cousin Mika, and like Aunt Erin. You remember the tall girl? And Michaela. And it was just like all of them showed up. All of them were there for support. And I was just like, wow, that's crazy. This is great.
Yeah, the siblings in the building too. They came to support. Yeah, the whole line. I was like, oh, okay.
They were only there for the candy and the snacks. That was it.
But you know what? You gave them a moment. And that's a memory that they're going to be talking about years from now. And just making a superstar, I can't get a shout on the daggone phone. And they're going to be like, remember that one time where we was in that music video? You know what I'm saying? So it's awesome though. But now again, I'm excited to see where you take this thing, and I'm definitely even more excited to see what's next. Definitely, So the sun's getting brighter. So anybody who watches the beat knows this is my favorite portion of the show. My favorite portion of the show is what I call hot topics. Hot topics are a series of questions designed for the viewers to get to know who the person I'm interviewing is through those random questions. Okay. So try to answer these questions to the best of your ability. If you don't want to answer, feel free not to answer. But before we do, just one last thing. And Ebony Bell, who has been up and down the chat room in a good way. She's so excited too.
Yes. She was there in the set, ready to go.
on again, that crew. You know what I mean? That crew. So hot topics, here we go. What's 3 things you didn't know? 3 things that the world does not know about Ashiya, or 3 things that you would like to clarify to the world that people just seem to keep getting wrong, that you just like, nah.
One major thing is that people think I know how to do my makeup, and I do not. I just started learning how to do my makeup, and it's been a thing. But I'm not a pro. I don't know what I'm doing, and I will be learning. Another one. I love macaroni and cheese. That is my favorite food. I know it's a very American food. But
okay, but is it like macaroni and cheese or macaroni and cheese?
It's like okay. See, I'm very picky. It's only my mom's macaroni and cheese. Like I can't have nothing else but my mom's macaroni and cheese. That's it. Everything else is like, yeah.
That part.
And I guess another one I could say is my second favorite color is blue. My first is purple, but my second is blue.
Okay. Yeah, I get that. Cool.
Yeah.
My playlist popping. What's on your audio playlist, like that you listen to, that you draw inspiration from, that you just like bump when you motivate from one point to the next, or whatever? Who you listen to?
Oh my gosh, there's so many people on my playlist. So many people. I got like Janae Aiko. I have Lucky Day, Brockhampton. I have a lot of people. IDK. It's so many people on my playlist. Like my Spotify, all my playlists are like 15 hours long because I listen to so many other people. It's a lot, but those are like a couple of them that I can remember at the top of my head.
Okay. Okay, cool. That's fair. Netflix, what? And this is for your visual playlist. Like, what have you caught on TV? Any movies? It could be shows, movies. It doesn't have to be Netflix. It could be Hulu. It could be Disney Plus. It could be HBO now. So many different ones now. So, what's on your visual playlist?
I've been watching. Well, I just finished it with my mom, but The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We just finished that on Disney Plus. It was so good. Did you watch it?
Of course, I'm a Marvel buff.
So good.
Yeah. I like the narrative that they chose to drive with it, especially how it resonates with culture today.
Especially the ending. The ending was chef's kiss. It was great.
Now, I do have if they would just took the head part of his costume out.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
The costume was dope. It's just when you got the head part.
It was solid, but yeah, they could have gave him a little something different, a little something special.
But it's just like
yeah, I get it.
All right, well, cool. You made it through hot topics. Usually, I kind of get robust with it, but I just wanted to keep it simple for you, so forth and so on. But we want to get to some more serious topics, more current events, and political-based questioning. Okay. What is your thoughts on the music and entertainment industry? Being that you're just taking off now and you're starting to really experience things for yourself and not just through a lens of say your mom and your dad or other people that you know. You're physically tackling taking the bull by the horns yourself. Mm-hmm. What is it like? What are your thoughts on it?
I feel like if you're alone in the music industry, it's very easy to become a product and no longer a person. And I feel like you should always have a team. Like having a team in the music industry really keeps you structured. It keeps you safe. And it's like, that's your family, because I feel like there are some good in the music industry, but there's also that bad that keeps people as this brand. And it's hard for them to differentiate between the artist and the person. And I think that it's always important to have your team with you and have that solid, structured family with you.
Right. Yep. I don't even need to comment on that. But Good answer. Definitely good answer. I totally understand where you come from with that. And
Mhm.
dabbling around with the music industry and the entertainment industry for so long, yeah, you nailed it. It's right there, the tip of the nose. Now, Black in America, what does that mean to you today? And keeping in mind, obviously having to have gone through, the stuff with, George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and now McKay Brandt and especially like McKay, she was like relatively around your age. How do these things strike you, and what does it mean to you with all that's going on, including your successes?
Mm.
What is it like for you being Black in America?
I feel like as a Black girl in America, you are automatically a target. But I also feel like being Black in America is power and is something that is beautiful, especially when we take that and we are able to grasp it on our own and take it as our own. Because a lot of things are taken away from us and a lot of things are stolen and rebranded and made cool when we were made fun of for it. And I feel like we have to take those things and be proud of those things. And we are becoming more proud. And I feel like these situations and these instances of police brutality are always happening, and it's becoming so diluted and so dehumanized because people are posting like people actually being killed on their stories as if it's not someone who is passing away and who is no longer on this earth. And I feel like we need to continue to like bring awareness and also make sure that people are held accountable. But I also think that we need to also keep in mind that these are still human beings and these are still people, and we need to honor their families and we need to take care of that fact because they're still people and we can't just post them being shot and killed as if that's normal, because it's not, and it never will be, and it never should be.
So do you feel that it's contributing to more of shock value or perpetuating the images going forward, or do you really feel that that's something that people just kind of need to see it in order for them to realize that it's actually happening?
I think that perpetuating and constantly showing these things is making the person less likely to feel bad. I mean, like when you're seeing it, you feel that, but it's not that shock factor that you should get when someone is being shot and killed, because it's every day that you're seeing this. And I don't think that anyone who sees this and posts it willingly and knowingly without any trigger warnings or anything like that is just like, this is another Black person being shot and killed. And that isn't how this should be handled. I don't think that constant videos of someone being shot and killed should be everywhere for all to see. I think that they should maybe be articles. There should be things being told so that the public is aware. And maybe if you do post these things, it should be a trigger warning so that other people are like, okay, this is what's about to happen and I don't want to see this, rather than seeing it and that's it.
Right, and not being able to unsee it.
Mm-hmm. Because that's trauma porn. That's what that is. All the time, every single day. That's all Black people see. And it's awful to continue to see that because it hurts us. It might not hurt other people, but it hurts us.
Right. That's an interesting perspective to look at it from, honestly. Yeah. Yeah, and I think the media has a great, I mean, they get a great deal of part of the whole thing. And then, it's just, it to me, it grows outward, it grows bigger. It's like a mushroom cloud stemming from exactly what you said. So I think if people kind of really just looked at it from a perspective of respect the life that's lost, then we can really kind of get healing. It's like if you cut yourself, you don't keep picking at the wound. You have to let it heal.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a lot of merit in what you said, honestly. Kudos. Now, with regard to the scenario with McKay Brandt, like being that she was like relatively around your age, like how was that specific instance, for you personally? And do you have, obviously, I don't want to say do you have thoughts on what was right and what was wrong, because that would, imply things that maybe you don't want to say. But what I want to say is do you feel that there's a learning lesson for people that are, other people that are your age to kind of conduct themselves in a way so that they can avoid being put in or dragged into that kind of scenario?
I feel like because she was alone in this instance and people were coming for her, it was hard for her to be able to defend herself without being what she was in that video. And I feel like if she had people with her, the situation would have been handled a lot differently. But she was, again, alone. And I do think that this situation shows how easily things can be hidden and glossed over because of the law. Because in retrospect, it was like, oh, well, if an officer believes something is dangerous or there's a danger, then they have to react. And that is plausible to the law, and that's okay. And I feel like what the officer did was not okay because he stood there for a while. He could have moved, he could have done something, but he stood there. So I do think that on his part, he was wrong, and that on her part, she was only doing what she was doing to defend herself.
Right. That's understandable. It is unfortunate to be put in that situation, but it's a reality for a lot of us. You know what I mean? And I brought this up before in a previous episode. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Karate Kid brand and so forth and so on. But one of the dopest parables that Mr. Miyagi said is the best defense is no beating. You know what I mean? So if you really truly want to defend yourself, don't put yourself in that situation. You know what I mean? So I think that's the learning lesson that I teach my kids, or at least try to talk to them about. It's like, it's great that you want to have a voice. It's great that you want to feel heard and be respected, but you got to think your way out of situations because you'll walk yourself right into a paper bag every time if you're not careful. You know what I mean?
They're always waiting for Black people to slip up or make a mistake. Even if it's the slightest small mistake, that's something that could risk your life. And I feel like we always have to be cautious. We always have to be careful because one mistake could be our last mistake.
Yeah, 30 seconds could change the rest of your life. So that's that. On a non-political note, this goes back more to your brand. How important is social media to your branding success? I mean, obviously, in the day and age of social influencing, how do you feel being that, like I said, you have a lot of tools at your disposal in order to get your brand out there by way of social media? How do you feel going through it now? How important it is for social media and for you or aspiring artists to use?
I always knew that social media would always be incorporated regardless, but I never knew how important it was to have almost every social media possible. And I really only use 2 social medias, and I feel like it's like this black hole a little bit where there's that good side and that bad side. And I feel like as an artist, I always want to just remain authentic and remain honest with myself, no matter, even if I were to get big quickly or not, remaining authentic to myself and my core and remaining true to where I'm from and not forgetting where I'm from or the people from where I'm from.
Right. Okay. That's understandable. I think the biggest thing with social media is that, it's exactly, you get exactly how you use it. That's, what I'm saying. So if you use it in a detrimental way, your return is going to be detrimental. If you use it in a way business forward, then it's going to be business forward. And I think that's the biggest thing that I think a lot of people get lost in, because everybody, topically sees it as some sort of as you take a word from you, gossip porn, and or for some it's it's a dating platform, you know what I mean? People and whatever. but it, like I said, that's what my belief is that you know you get exactly what you use it for. So that's that. Any advice for aspiring talent? Any young entrepreneurs or young superstars in the waiting like you? What legacy do you leave behind for them?
I feel like the most important thing, well, for me, I feel like the important thing to say is don't be afraid to fail, because if you're afraid to fail, you won't be able to excel. Like that's perfection in your mind. That's being a perfectionist and trying to make sure everything's perfect, and nothing will be perfect. Like my song wasn't perfect at first. It was terrible. And I had to continue, because if I had just went by that, I would have been like, oh, it's awful and that's it. And I feel like never being afraid to fail is it's an important thing. It really is. Because it allows you to keep going. It allows you to have an open mindset on things, no matter what. Because you are your worst critic. Nobody else but you. So.
Right. That makes sense. It makes sense. I think, let me ask you this. Do you feel that there's credibility to saying that art is as expectation is?
Yeah. I do agree. I think so, yeah.
Yeah. The reason why I asked that question is just because I think people try to chase certain things. And you know, once everything is out in the public forum, it's subject to people's expectations or their judgments or them nitpicking and so forth and so on. Right. But who's to say that there's a right and wrong when it's your art? This is your perspective. Like
everyone has an opinion on everything, and everyone wants to put their little opinions on someone else's work, which is why it is very hard for many artists, even like top artists, to put out things, because that's like near to themselves. That comes from them. And when they put it out, it's like devoured and eaten up and like spat out for consumption, instead of like being listened to and just like, okay, this is cool. You know, it always has to be defined or explained, and never just seen and heard and understood.
Right. Yeah, it's a very good point. Very good point. You know, and just wanted to get your take on that and your thoughts. How can people learn more about you? Like any shout outs that you want to throw out there, feel free to put it in the space as well. But how can people reach out to you and connect with you and follow your climb?
Everything that I have, like all my music, my YouTube channel, everything is on my Instagram. And that's where you find like my TikTok, and anything that you want to know about me or listen to is all there on my Instagram.
Okay. What is the Instagram, by the way?
Oh. It's at Ashiya Pugh, Ashiya Pugh. And that is my Instagram, and all the links are in my bio. Okay.
So you have any last words? Anything that you want to share at all?
I'm really glad to have worked with you. I will say that it was one of the best things for sure, because you were very patient with me. And you were very easy to work with, and I'm very glad that you handled it with such care, because that was my first music video, and I feel like the way you handled it was beautifully done, and everything looks great, and you're amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It means a lot. It really does. But my belief is that, you know, everybody wants and needs to be heard and seen. They should have their shot. You know what I mean? And I believe that, like I said, I try to protect the art. You know what I mean? Especially if it's somebody that has a beautiful talent. Like I said, having met work with your mom, you know, she'll tell you since day one, I was like, oh, I'm a huge fan. Like, you know what I mean? And so, you know, hearing what you do, I'm like, I'm a huge fan. Like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? And if I can help, I mean, I know my time is all over the place because I'm doing so much, but I mean, nonetheless, you know, I try to make time to work and cultivate the talent and keep the art alive, man. And you know, get back and you know, and I was honored, like I said, honored to be asked to be a part of it, and honored to work with it, and honored to see it now. It's, you know, living and breathing, and you know, and hopefully I'll do everything I can to help push it. You know what I mean? And I just look forward to whatever's next. I actually got I don't know if you have any slots left on your album, but I actually got a beat that was just sitting there, and I thought of you. So I was literally thinking about it 2 days ago.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Just I'll if you remind me, I'll shoot it to you and see if you want to run with it or not.
Okay.
But that's that. I don't have anything else. Like I said, it was a privilege to be able to share this thing, this project that we worked on together. Shout out to Antoine. Shout out to Gold. Shout out to the crew. Yeah, your base is your family base is crazy, and I love that dynamic. I think that is gold. And you see what I did there? And you know, it's rare. You know what I mean? Is when I started in the industry, I built off of what was laid in front of me, but I had to make do with what I had. You know, I wish I had that family where it was just like everybody worked together to click and make things happen. And so watch it. I'm a fan of you and the whole family. So and Antoine, hey man, you're the best man back. You know,
even Jamaica, shout out to her for doing like the hair, the makeup, all of that.
Makeup was popping. They don't even understand that. It was hot that day. You know, so yeah, definitely big shouts out to everybody involved. Hopefully everybody enjoys the video, and you know, I'll just look forward to the next one. You know, let's see what whatever the projects come up in the future. We'll see.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. This will be ready on YouTube immediately following, and stay on afterwards so we can button this up and then let you back about your day. But like I said, everybody, this is a pleasure working with Ashiya, man. She's a brilliant talent, brilliant young star, and I guarantee you that there's gonna be plenty more if you're paying attention. If you know where to look, you'll find all of the right gems, man. Again, I'm Donnie B Got the Beats. We live on the beat. This Tuesday we have Morgan Elizabeth. She is an entertainment executive. Actually, she was on the crew for Jan Levant, part of the award-winning production team for that show. She's gonna be on Tuesday night. And then we have Mother's Day, and our Mother's Day we got a nice little panel, so everybody stay tuned. We're gonna talk about and celebrate Black moms and Black working moms, that's out here, riding around getting it. So stay tuned for that. But nonetheless, Donnie B Got the Beats, live on the beat. Everybody make sure y'all check out, like, and subscribe to Ashiya on social media. Get your numbers up, and make sure that you definitely support her with the weekend, because it truly is a great piece of work. So, any last words?
Thank y'all for watching. I'm so excited to have you guys listen to my song. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Indeed. You have a great day. And like I said, hang tight. And everybody else, thank you for staying tuned, and stay tuned for the next episode. We out.
Donnie B.